Hello, good evening, and welcome to the FB4 Daily. It is Friday. It is literally 2 days before Liverpool go and beat Manchester United at Old Trafford. Sorry we're a bit late. We are trying our best to get a Manchester United fan online, but he has failed to show. He was travelling, in fairness to him, at the time, so he just has not made it tonight. This show tonight is one last look at this game before we get ready to watch it. This will be our last podcast before the game, and we will have a Fatback 4 as normal on Sunday evening. Time to be confirmed. Probably 8, more than likely 9 p.m. This show, of course, is brought to you by Paddy Power. It's a bookies, it's an app, it's a website. If you gamble, please gamble responsibly and consider doing so with Paddy Power. My guest tonight is Grizz Can, and the reason I have you on, Grizz, is because you last Sunday predicted a 1-1 draw with Manchester United at Old Trafford on Sunday. One, I want to know, have you changed your mind? And two, if you haven't, I'm going to make it my business in the next 29 minutes to convince you otherwise. How are we feeling, Grizz?
I'm feeling good. I'm just like the millions of Liverpool fans all around the world. Gav, I'm really looking forward to this game. You haven't done enough. Nope. I'm disappointed in your effort, actually. You haven't done enough on a daily basis to convince me that we're going to smash them. You know, you and Matt's words from last Sunday. After listening to the press conference from Mr. Klopp, I'm very confident. I'm very, very confident of not losing. Okay? It's just we have to turn up with a different mindset to what we done last season, Gav. And if we do so, then we'll win. But if we have the same mindset that, you know, they shall not pass and we shall play on the counter, it won't work because they won't come out of their half, Gav. They really won't. And so that's why I'm still waiting sort of to see, you know, how it's going to pan out.
Okay. You say I haven't done enough during the week to convince you. You obviously haven't listened to any of the shows I've done during the week, and I'm a little bit upset.
I listen to every second of every show.
You fucking liar. John Mallon on YouTube says, Gaz and Grizz, the dream team. Yeah, we are. We actually like each other a lot. You know, when you listen to us, you probably don't think we do, but literally Grizz is one of the best humans I know. He's in the top 3 anyway.
Correct.
Centurion says, hello, Gav. Salam, Grizz. I don't know what the fuck Salam, Grizz means.
Let me explain. Let me give it context.
It means hello, doesn't it?
That means hello, peace, and peace to you as well. What was the name?
Centurion LFC on YouTube.
Wassalam to Centurion LFC on YouTube.
There we go. Mick says our biggest strength this season is managing games. 2-1 to the Reds. Dave's LFC chat says he's sticking to his 2-1 Liverpool. Nord Red says we're getting closer. How are we all? I'm in great form. Apart from having to paint 3 rooms in the house at the exact same time. Other than that, I'm in absolutely great form. But Grizz, you're saying I didn't do enough during the week, and I apologise for that. Okay, if it's upset you, but has you know, certain occurrences over the week not changed your mind? Like Pogba ruled out, De Gea pulls up injured for Spain and is out. Has none of them done anything for you?
Yeah, no. You know, I'm swaying towards a win, but if I was to sway towards a win, Gav, it would be a very narrow win. Look, I thought personally that was one of Klopp's best press conferences today. I don't know if you managed to catch it. Did you?
No, I didn't. I seen clips afterwards of it.
All right,
clips and some text, you know, on Twitter.
I literally drooled all over it. He was brilliant. He's developed this he's developed this side to him, Gav, where he's showing a ruthless side to him. It's not all about ha 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 and his laughs and whatnot. You know, in press conferences, he's always cracking jokes, etc., etc.
Yep.
He's realized, and I don't think he's realized, but it's coming to a point where he's serious now, and his press conference was serious. It was a throwback to sort of, the great Alex Ferguson and Jose press conferences in terms of everything he said made sense from a Liverpool fan's point of view. It was what every Liverpool fan wanted to hear. He talked about all the bullshit and hype that's gone in the media, and I'm afraid, 90% of the Liverpool fan base is sort of going way OTT about we're going to smash them. Football just doesn't not work like that.
Mm-hmm.
If we listen to Klopp's press conference today, he made absolute sense. He talked about he doesn't give a shit about what the media said and all these combined 11s and etc. etc. He knows we're going to play our biggest rival historically, regardless of where they are, how shit they are, how crap they are. It literally doesn't mean anything when these two teams play at Old Trafford. Everything that has been said in the media, Gav, will have galvanized that team, that crowd, to make sure they stop us from winning.
Dunno on YouTube says Klopp called it a circus.
It is. It's been an absolute circus in terms of combined 11s, all 11 players. I mean, have you ever heard of anything like that before? I mean, it may well be the case, but it's if you actually analyze the best 11s, we are the better 11 by far, and we probably don't have any United players in it. But it's the whole media setup of a banana skin, as Klopp called it. He said, "You guys are making a banana slip for us to slip over. We're failing to do that." And I'm Klopp's army, mate. I'm on that Klopp's army side. Like, if we go there and we play our game at 80% and above, we will win.
Well, John Mallon.
Not all teams get to play at 80% of their quality away from home against their biggest rivals. Football just not simple as that.
John Mallon says no. De Gea and Pogba, Martial, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Shaw haven't played in weeks. Anything other than a win is failure, in his opinion. Maverick has asked a random question. Maverick, I can't do the random questions tonight because Grizz is on a strict time schedule. That's being honest with you.
You were saying strict diet schedule.
Yeah, well, that would have been a fucking lie. No, the only thing I will look for tonight is I have to pick a bet for this game. So if somebody wants to throw in a bet, I'm going to put we usually split the 20 quid up into different pieces. Not this week. I just want a straight bet for this game on Sunday. Remember, we're trying to win money for charity, please. So just try your bets in and I'll keep an eye on them as we go along. Centurion says, Klopp said, I don't think there's a lot of teams who would love to play against us at the moment. It looks like Man United is the only one who wants to play us. And I think he followed that up with, as Centurion just follows up with here and says, we have to make sure that is a misunderstanding.
That was a brilliant line. That was a brilliant line from Klopp. I must admit, it's probably one of my favourite lines of his time here.
And that's probably a change in Grizz because, like you said, a couple of laughs in a press conference and everything. Yeah. But he's been kind of funny there, but he's being very decisive in what he's saying. You know what I mean? It's not a jokey way. He's coming across a slightly different way. You know what I mean?
Gav, he's adding to this mentality of monsters. Like, we're going to show them, because look how he started off was like, we're not a very good team to play against. Mm-hmm. Sorry, we're not a very comfortable, or something like along those lines. We're not a very comfortable team to play against, except Man United think we're the perfect opponents for that, and we have to show them on Sunday that that's a total misunderstanding, right? So I love talk like that. This is proper warrior talk that, I was waiting for Klopp to turn into this sort of, this sort of monster that is created in terms of a team and our personality and our character, that we don't care where we go, we don't care who we're playing against. Gav, this game kind of reminds me of the Bayern Munich game at the Allianz.
Okay.
In terms of Bayern, A lot of people are saying they're not in good form. They're not what they used to be. They can be got at up front. They haven't got much going for them in terms of no pace, no speed at the time. I mean, obviously, they've since added to their team, etc., this season. But at the time, the likes of Muller out, so that equates to the likes of Pogba out, maybe. So it's a quite similar scenario where we're going to a huge stadium, a huge club. And if we perform like we did because that was one of our best performances away to Bayern, we went there and we played the team. We didn't play the occasion. We didn't play our opponent's name. Do you know what I mean about that, Gav?
Yeah, no, we do.
We just went and played that game, 11 against 11, and we just didn't let them breathe. And that's the kind of performance I'm looking for on Sunday, Gav. And oh my God, it will be a bloody marker, Gav. If we go to Old Trafford, I don't care what anyone says, Gav. I'm a realist. I'm not one of these fans that's going to say, oh, we're going to blow them away. And, Matt's drunken, shouts of 5-0 and 4-0. We go there.
I love Matt.
We go there, Gav, and we go and win 3 points. We're going to get 3 points. Fuck the score. I'm not interested in the score one single bit. I'll tell you what, that will be a heartbreaker for Man City, because Man United away for us is, for them, a definite game where they think and where they feel we will drop points like we did last season.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. There's loads of different things coming in here. Stephen Kingsbury says Liverpool Genie to score and Liverpool to win 2-0. Mick follows that up with saying he fancies Genie to score as well. Dunno says that Klopp needs to practice his shooting. I seen that video earlier. That was brilliant, where Van Dijk just absolutely lashes at him. I think he calls them arseholes as well when he launches it out of Melwood. It was brilliant.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Centurion says, as always, first goal is important. We score first and we'll score many. They score and we win 3-1. Stephen Mack says, meanwhile, Grizz calls it 1-1. Yeah, I think he's sticking to his 1-1. And that's absolutely fair enough. But Grizz, I mentioned Pogba earlier. You see, the only thing for me in Liverpool's side is the midfield. Does he play the Champions League 3, as they call it? Fabinho, Wijnaldum, Henderson, or is there a change? I've put Naby Keita in the hat during the week, but I did say that if there is going to be a change, I feel Milner might be the more obvious one to go with. Do you see them 3 starting, Grizz, or do you think Milner or Keita might get a look in?
I think it will be the Champions League 3, as you mentioned. Mm-hmm. I did tweet personally, and what the fuck do we know? But personally, I would love to see a fit Ox or a Keita in there instead of Hendo, but I don't think Ox or Keita have either form or fitness. I mean, what I mean in terms of like sort of peak fitness and peak form. Neither of them are at that stage at this level, and for a game of this magnitude, in my opinion. But I would love to see an Ox driving at that, at that defense from that midfield, because they wouldn't be able to handle fit and a firing Ox, and similarly Keita to just absolutely knit the team the only criticism, and many talk about it, and we got to accept that we're not the perfect team. We have a perfect record, but we're not the perfect team. And one of the main criticisms is that we don't knit the play from midfield to attack as well as we could and should. And Naby Keita is the one that was signed for that very specific job and role, but unfortunately the kid can't just sort of get a run of games together. Milner is probably the most deserving, Gav, in terms of he was one of our man of the matches of against Leicester, and also he's had a nice couple of weeks off as well. So if there was any change, my money would be on Milner to replace Hendo, but I think because of the fact that Hendo's had a nice 6-7 day break since they got back from the England duty, I think he may well get the nod. Okay.
Stephen Mack says, Gav, are you looking for a fucking bet? I'm giving it to you 4-1 a la the Torres years. Listen, I'll tell you what, Stephen, this is what we do. I will put €5 of the bet on a 4-1 to Liverpool. If it does not win, I don't want you to tell me 4-1 again, right? Because you do it every single game. But for this one, I will absolutely let you have €5 on a 4-1 to Liverpool, okay? The other €15 will be going on to something else. I will have a look back through this show tonight for all the comments, and I will pick one out. I did like one earlier, and it will come back to me in a couple of minutes, and I'll tell you the one I liked in a few minutes. Grizz, just looking at United then, we know how we're going to set up. We know what we want them to do with regards. Personally, I want us to go out and stamp our authority on United very early. I want us to control it. I want to shut the crowd up. I want us to score. I want them to get really annoyed, really upset, and then be all over the shop. That's where I want it to go. But just looking at United, Grizz, right? So it looks like Romero starts in goal, okay? Wan-Bissaka hasn't played, and it looks like he will play on Sunday, so he's looking probably rusty, okay? The other, Martial, is in the same boat. Do you think, and Shaw as well, so that them three there are the kind of three that would be alternatives to what they already have. Can you see them going in with them three to start with the risk of having to substitute them early like they did last season?
I think if Martial starts, it will just show the desperation levels of Ole. The kid hasn't played in 7-8 weeks, and he's only joined first team training this week. If it was Klopp, there will be no chance of Martial starting.
Mm-hmm.
But Ole's in a totally different boat, isn't he?
Well, Solskjaer was quoted during the week as saying, Aaron Wan-Bissaka he's only back in training. Martial the same, Luke Shaw the same, and basically his quote was, "We'll have to see how they get on in training. Could they make the game?" He says possibly, and then he says, "But we'll have to see if what part they could play, whether it be 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or maybe half a game."
I mean, I think Wan-Bissaka starts. I think, as I said in the FB4 on Sunday, I think Ashley Young probably, or that Tuzanbi, whatever his name is, keeps his place ahead of. I don't think Shaw will go straight back into the team. Martial, I mean, as Klopp said, Klopp is expecting. I mean, this is what he said another thing in the press conference. He goes, "I don't give a shit. I'm expecting James, Rashford, and Martial up front." And he goes, "That is, pretty good, and that's the type of attack or counter and pace I'm going to look forward to defending or anticipate sort of playing against."
Mm-hmm.
So, Klopp is ready, and his team is ready for all outcomes, whatever they pick.
Mm-hmm.
I just think if he picks Martial, Gav, it will be a sign of desperation.
Mm-hmm.
It will mean Rashford probably goes out wide right, I'm guessing. Unless Ole totally changes the system completely, which I don't think he will. It's a bit up in the air for them, as it was last season, to be honest with you. But as I said, it really doesn't matter, to be honest with you. I mean, I know you've said it before, and you personally think Pogba may make a difference in terms of how we approach it, how we don't. I don't think so.
No, I didn't say that. What I said was, I think Pogba could make a difference to them in the style of play that they may look to play against us.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, if it's an open game, and it's end to end, no, Pogba doesn't worry me. But it would worry me slightly if we're in the ascendancy and Pogba's given any sort of time halfway inside his own half to pick out the likes of a Martial or Rashford. That's what I said. But he's being ruled out, and so has De Gea.
Well, apparently he's not been completely ruled out, Gav.
Well, reports yesterday said that both of them are out, and to kind of agree with what I think you were going to say there, I actually won't believe it until I see the team sheet on Sunday. That's being honest with you, and I mean that for both of them.
Absolutely, no, I genuinely think De Gea's out, but I think Pogba. I think Pogba's. It's a guess. You're right. It is 50-50. Is there mind games going on? I don't really see what kind of games it could possibly be. Either he's playing or he's not playing. As you said, if he is playing, then it could work for us because you made a great point in one of your pods. Yeah, I do listen. Mm-hmm. In the week where you said Pogba thinks he can play and will want to play, but the shit around him can't play. So that's advantage the likes of Bobby and the likes of Ginny, who will be all over him. And if he's trying to play football amongst that pile of shit, then it could play into our hands. So I'm not sweating or even fretting anything like that over Pogba. I I'm far more concerned in our attitude and our sort of, how we approach the game from the offset. If we go there and treat them for the 11 they are on the pitch, then we shall win. But if we play the occasion again and we think, oh, we're Old Trafford, history, etc., etc., then that's an issue because, it's very difficult to change that, as we found last season in mid-game, or sort of, it was, I've said it before, I very rarely criticize Klopp. He's an absolute godsend for all of us Liverpool fans. But I do feel, and I did feel at the time, Man United away last season was probably one of his worst performances as a coach for us.
Yeah, it's a fair enough point. It is a fair enough point. I think one or two players let him down on the day, especially players that were brought on to make an impact. But I do think the substitution, if I'm right, last season of having Sturridge on when Firmino has to go off injured, I think was madness. And that didn't bode well for anybody. But I'm just in my head trying to think of the United side on my face. It's like they have to be more than touch and go to actually start this game, because you could end up with what happened last season where, Wan-Bissaka actually had tonsillitis, I think, so it wasn't an actual injury. Do you know what I mean? It was an illness more than anything else. Shaw has been working back over the last 4 or 5 weeks, but I fancy Young to start at left back. But the Martial one really interests me because I think he might be a kind of, emergency sub if they're 1-0 down with 20 to go and they think they can get 20 minutes out of him. I think if they're 2 or 3-0 down with 20 to go, I don't think you'll see Martial on the pitch at all. I think he might only be risked. It would surprise me, I'll put it this way, it would surprise me if Anthony Martial, if he's touch and go for this game, starts on Sunday, because it's a massive risk. One, Liverpool are going to have more of the ball, and Liverpool are known for tiring you out. So for you to make a sub, say after 25 minutes, if he's not into it, and then you have 65 to go and you've only 2 subs to make, it just hinders you. One, you have to make the sub, and 2, you're cutting your options big time. That kind of way, especially towards the end of the game. There's loads of comments coming in here. Centurion says, not worst performance as a coach. Players let us down for one of the few times last year. Yeah, I kind of side with that, but I do know I know that substitution of Sturridge was for me was wrong.
I'll tell you why, Gav. I'll tell you why. The selection of Milner was wrong. Hindsight, etc., but it was wrong. Mm-hmm. Trent, as has been proven, has been one of our best attacking weapons, and Milner was a non-entity at right back, solid pro, etc., just didn't give us anything going forward. Yes, our front lads do owe us a performance at Old Trafford, even though they're brilliant. Bobby, Mane and Mo haven't performed at their ground. I know Mane scored at Anfield, but at their ground, we just haven't performed. I know Bobby went off early. I thought at the time, and I remember our WhatsApp conversation very clearly, my thoughts on Daniel Sturridge. I said, this is equivalent of us going down to 10 men. It was, maybe I was sort of, I was being a bit overcritical, but it proved to be right. Where I thought we were very, very bad, Klopp was very bad and slow, was when Rashford was injured. Literally, they were playing with 10 men for the last 20 minutes, and we just couldn't galvanize ourselves or make the right changes or change formation to go for that win that we should have got and which would have won us the league title.
It's an interesting point that, when you look at Liverpool away at United, and the results haven't been great. We can go through 0-9 and, 13-14, and there's an odd draw here and there. And, especially last season, as I've said before, there's probably 6 or 7 clubs that have claimed to stop Liverpool win the title last season due to draws against them. But it's a fair point to say that Salah, Firmino, and Mane haven't shown up at Old Trafford for Liverpool. I think that's a fair enough point. No, that's not to say it's all on them, but I agree with you. I'd be looking for, if all of them done it, it'd be brilliant. But I'm looking for 1, if not 2 of them to really turn around. I think it's key, and I said it already. Salah needs to get himself in a position where he's on the half turn all the time, absolutely all the time. Because Young will love nothing more than to just barge the back of him time after time after time, make it look like an innocent enough, innocuous enough foul, and he'll just get away with it all day and break our rhythm. Salah, if he needs to drop 10 yards just to get it on the half turn and open his body up, and look a bit more threatening.
Well, Gav,
it's huge. Gav, yeah, go on.
I think we're in for a slight surprise. And I know, you're talking about Salah. I think Salah's history with Maguire as well. Do you remember when we played Leicester and we won and Salah turned the game with 2 brilliant goals and he just tore Maguire apart?
Yeah, December 7, 2017, was it?
I think Salah's going to play through the middle, Gav. I really think Mane and Bobby will be given their fluid roles behind him. I think Salah will be the sort of the outlet through the middle. I genuinely think that.
And
Here's my shout.
And how key, because Kev O'Sullivan made a comment there a couple of minutes ago and he said United will have to play 4-3-3. They'll have to play 2 high, wide players. They've nothing else. Okay. How big is it? We're talking about Mane, Salah, Firmino. We've talked midfield. Could the fullbacks, like most games we play in, be absolutely huge for us? Because
got to be brave.
Got to be extremely brave. But
this is it. No. This is it. They've got to play their natural game, Gav.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But it is a case of bravery going away, and we've seen it at Chelsea. They went away and they played high, and they were good. But especially in this game, because do you know what? It worry me more, Grizz, right? If say Trent and Robertson are playing their natural game, they're playing high, they're pushing back, for argument's sake, a Daniel James and a Rashford. Just for argument's sake, okay? And they're pushing them back and they're penning United in. And you know what? Every time United get it, who are they trying to hit? We don't know. Is it Martial? He's looking for pace. He wouldn't be the best at holding the ball up. If they had a Lukaku up there, I'd be going, do you know something? We could play right into their hands here. The ball could get up to Lukaku. We could hold it up and use players off. Having said that, he's up against Van Dijk, who probably just demolish him for the whole game. But how big could the fullbacks be, Grizz? Because one, if you're getting that, if you overload on Wan-Bissaka, who could be rusty, and two, if you're overloading on Ashley Young, that no matter how many times he plays left back, he's not a left back. Do you know what I mean? And then you're putting balls into the box for the lads to attack, and you've Lindelof and Maguire in there, and you're turning them around at the same time. Look, the fullbacks could be absolutely key.
Look, either way, how they set up will be key in terms of how we set up, I guess, because, as you said, if Martial is playing, Gav, then they will look to hit us on the counter. But as I think, and you've indicated, I think Mata might start, because Mata has a pretty good record against us. He hasn't done fuck all for the last 3 years, but he always turns up in games against us, the little runt. Right? So if Mata plays, you see, and Mata plays wide, because James plays left, that would mean Rashford through the middle and Mata. Then definitely our fullbacks will want Mata to test his powers of endurance, of running up and down with our fullbacks. And same goes for a young, because at the end of the day, he's a kid. He's very talented and he's probably the shining star. But that David James is not a DM. I know Matt tried to influence
that was
social media in terms of thinking he's a DM, but he's not a DM, right?
Yeah.
He's a flying little winger who had quite a serious knock for his international country, for his Wales game in the midweek. Apparently he wasn't concussed, but it did look pretty bad. I think he played the full game, so we'd want to test him as well. And if Martial is playing, then we'd still want to test, has Rashford and James, do they want to go back? They won't be, as you said, they won't be able to hit Martial in the hope that he's going to sort of shield it against the likes of Matip and VVD. They will look to go over the top. We can really squeeze them in. Our defensive play has been getting better. I know a lot of people were sort of slightly worried about the amount of chances we're giving. I've sensed that our defense and our unit and our system, sort of this higher line, and it has been a higher line, is working quite well now, and it's getting better and better. So look, we've discussed the midfield, and it all depends about the midfield. We know our main attacking width comes from our wide men, i.e. our fullbacks, and they will be crucial. Especially if, as I think, Mane and Bobby will be slightly tucked in as opposed to playing out wide.
Just on the Daniel James things, Ryan Giggs, Centurion says Ryan Giggs sold him out. He said he was play acting. Swiller said, will we make Goldbridge cry on Sunday? John M says Giggs said he was acting. look, Grizz, you know me, I am an optimistic Liverpool fan. And I said it last night. Tomorrow I'll wake up and I'll be a little bit nervous and start as the game gets closer. You'll be thinking, and I usually think about worst case scenarios and stuff like that. And then Sunday I'll wake up and I'll be like, that'll kind of wear off. And then come 4 o'clock, I'll be like a caged animal waiting for Liverpool to go out and do this. I agree with you. I think it will be an absolute massive statement should we go and win the game. I do believe it all depends. Like we've gone around United's team all week because of different circumstances changing throughout the week. We've gone through it, and no matter how many times I go through this, all I can think of is United trying to live off the back of an excited crowd, a boisterous crowd, and trying to get something off Liverpool. But when that goes out of my head, all I can see is Liverpool dominating midfield. I can see our fullbacks pushing them back. I can see our front three getting some joy off Lindelof and Maguire, whether that be trickery or pace. And I just can't see anything else where Liverpool win. I really can't. I can see threats from United in certain ways, but they're not threats where I go.
You're trying your best.
I am trying my best. I'm trying my best to find threats, but at the same time, I'm looking going. I'll put it this way, Grizz. We've gone away to much better sides than this season. Much better sides and beaten them. You know what I mean?
We have. And listen. I don't want to, sound negative. I'm not sounding negative. I'm just trying to put a sort of, a side to it, sort of a realistic sort of.
Yeah, but Centurion says, when was the last time we got a straightforward game at Manchester United? That's a fair point as well.
It just doesn't happen, Gav.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm edging towards a 2-1, right? After listening to you today. Okay, I'm nearly there. I will WhatsApp you in the morning and tell you I think you have convinced me we are going to win 2-1. So if you want to put that down as a bet, a 2-1 to win, then I think this could be a lucky charm for us, because I know you guys haven't won much on that, have you?
No. But in fairness, we are going for bets that were like 400 to 1.
As this is going to charity, I've got a feeling. I've got a very strong feeling coming through that this could be 2-1 to Liverpool.
Okay. Are you a medium there or something?
Close.
Yeah, you said you got a feeling coming through. Is there light? Can you see light?
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely. Listen, you got to in this kind of scenarios, you got to look for the smallest of signs.
Okay. Yeah. Well, look. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But as I said, there won't be a podcast tomorrow. We're going to let everybody just relax, enjoy the build up to the game. We will be back on
calm before the storm.
Exactly. We will be back on Sunday night. Grizz will decide what time we're back. But it will be me, it will be Grizz, and it will be Keith. And we may find a fourth person. I'm not too sure. But we will announce what time the Fatback 4 will be on Sunday. We'll announce that Sunday morning or so. I'm going to stick with me 3-1. I think Grizz is going to stick with his 1-1, but the spirits are telling them that it could be 2-1. So we'll have to wait.
Go on, Gav. Go on, 2-1.
Okay, Grizz, we've changed Grizz.
2-1.
Grizz is now gone from 1-1 to 2-1. I did say, are you a medium, Grizz? And some people said, no, he's an extra large. So they were in there like a lie. Fair play to them. Tell Grizz to commit to diet and cycling when we win. Mane will win it for his friend. That's not even a real friendship. Grizz made up the fact that he went to a barbecue. That's all that happened there. Right, that's us. That's the Fatback 4 Daily. Enjoy the game, and we will be back with you after the game on Sunday evening. I will have a look back through the show. I will have a look through the suggested bets. I will pick one, put the bets on, and then I will post them on Twitter for everyone to see. Stephen's 4-1 win will be part of that bet because he types everything in caps. So if it doesn't come in, he has to turn off the caps button and he has to stop telling me 4-1. I think that's fair enough, don't you? That's it. Fatback 4 Daily. Thanks, Grizz.
No problem, mate.
Great stuff. Thanks to everyone for watching, commenting. You've been amazing. Over and out.